Anywhere you say, anywhere you say, anywhere.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to my channel. I am Nic With Love. Welcome to my channel, Nic With Love. So, I actually am on another channel called The Alchemist The Oracle with my co-host, Alchemist Warriors Artishir RN, and I'm the Oracle. And I was in the process of editing and kind of looking back over the episode that we just did on that channel, and I wanted to do kind of like a post show um like reflections. If you watch the video, and I highly suggest that you go watch it. I'll try to link it in the card or in the description below. But if you watch the episode, you'll notice that we both actually thought that we were supposed to be presenting the impeccable with your word. And so with that, we kind of had to like on the fly, like adjust to uh, figuring it out along the way. So I want to go a little bit deeper in in terms of the concept of being impeccable with your word. Well, these things together. It's coming from the Agreements, which is a book by Don Miguel Ruiz, and he talks about four agreements that if you work with in your life, you start to really adjust how happy and fulfilling and comfortable you feel in your life and also like in the world. I was reintroduced, kind of reminded about it again, going through my spiritual warrior training too with Egon the Van Zant. And they really helped me to adjust myself when it comes to not being so caught up and overwhelmed with like the experiences going on, really learning how the only power we have is how we choose to respond to what's going on. And so those four agreements really do help support that reality and such. I do recommend like going and watching that, but I'm going to dive into it from um the in the way that I kind of want to add a little extra layer to it. Be impeccable with your word. So how Ruiz presents it in the book is that your words, he describes your words as the most powerful tool that we possess. It can create from a space, it's capable of creation versus destruction. So I think of it like expansion or contraction. And so it can expand things or it can contract things essentially. So when you look at words, right, this is where the part like I want to kind of like go a little bit deeper and the and talk about the influence and the power of your words, why being impeccable with your word is so important here, why it's an agreement that is so powerful is because words carry energy. If you if you've been on my channel like the last couple videos or so, I talk about how everything is energy. Everything is energy, and your words are energy too. And there's an energetic frequency, vibration, profile that your words carry. So, with that, if you understand words carry energy, it innately says, hey, you need to be mindful of the words that you are expressing. And that's the connection point to of why being impeccable with your word is so important and so powerful to really have a mindfulness and awareness around the words that you are speaking to yourself and also the words that you are allowing other people to speak into you, right? It goes both ways. It's that contraction and that expansion. It's that creation versus destruction that that Don Miguel Ruiz really speaks of, and kind of how like I conceptualize being impeccable with your word lines up with living a life of purpose and meaning. And I always say I think everyone has the same purpose. Everyone's purpose to be that loving demonstration of peace and joy and compassion in the world to everything that we come in contact with. The distinction is your unique talent will decide how you are purposeful. But everyone has the same purpose. The way you go about it, you bring about it, your presence, how you presence it into the world, how you bring it into the world, it really has a lot to do with your talents. From that, your experiences will also be adjusted accordingly as well. So just something to kind of take into consideration here. The influence and power here is like when you speak impeccably, it helps align like your thoughts and your emotions and your actions, and it creates a level of congruence in your life. If words are energy and we're speaking impeccably with our word, you're aligning your thoughts, emotions, and your actions in what it is that you're saying because of the energy, the frequency. So being aware of the frequency, the vibration of what you speak, you instantly align your thoughts because how you speak is how you think, your emotions because how you feel connects into how you speak, how you feel about the words that you're expressing, the expression of those words are connected to your emotions and your actions through how you speak to yourself based on how you're expressing yourself on that's connected to how you're feeling. You create this energetic profile, this frequency, this vibration that aligns with your thoughts, emotions, and actions. So when you're impeccable with your word, those thoughts, emotions, and those actions will be congruent. It will create a congruency in your life that it will always be congruent, no matter if you're impeccable with your word, if you're creative, if you're expansive, or if you're destructive, um, you're contracting essentially. With repetition comes mastery. So I'm going to repeat myself and hopefully in a way is, really aware of the impeccability with my word and understanding the energetic power and purpose. Like my purpose is to use my words to communicate and to express and to encourage and to uplift people. So when we look at be impeccable with your word, it's just this reminder that words are not just tools for communication. We think like, oh, that's all it is. But again, they carry energy and intention that can shape our reality. Words are more than just tools of communication. They are tools of communication. But guess what? They're tools of communication that have a lot to do with your emotions, your thoughts, and it's the action piece. It's the action piece that really shows up and creates your reality. That's the piece, it's the action piece. So when you really start to understand that the words that you speak, they carry energy, and the intention, that frequency will attune, your life will attune to that frequency based on the energy of the words that you're speaking. Okay. I hope he's starting to see like the connection here. So that's what shapes your reality when you really start to understand how words are energy. Words are energy. And through that energetic frequency and vibration, your actions attune to that. Everything else attunes to that. Your life thus attunes to that. One thing that I love about the book is that he talks about how, there's this emphasis he puts on that words are spells. And I was just like, ooh, I was like, oh my God, I love that. I love that. And so he has this emphasis on words as spells that shape reality. When you think about that, that's why be impeccable with your word, because words are spells. Also, too, words are prayers. A lot of times people get caught up like, oh, spells, it's magical and it's demonic and what have you. But a prayer is a spell. You're asking for something. You're I'm trying to think of the word, the phrasing of this. In prayer, you're asking for something. You're um humbling yourself to be in reverence, in understanding of the power that you're seeking support from has and can give and offer to you. And so you, through prayer, that's what you do. They're spells, they're incantations, prayer incantation. I think a lot of times we get caught up on words and we put like certain meanings to words. And the thing about it is there's words have different definitions, quote unquote. I always look at definitions. That's why there's more than one way to say something, to express something, to communicate something. And it's that communication, that way of being able to communicate differently. There's different energy, or there's an energetic vibration, frequency, attunement, and such that comes with how we speak and communicate. So be impeccable with your word. Words are spells. And the word spell itself, it implies that every utterance is a form of casting energy, right? You cast a spell, you're casting energy. And you're casting this energy into the world. You're asking and seeking something in return based on your words. You're asking for, it's a directive, essentially. A spell is a directive saying, hey, this is the energy that I'm seeking. Can you please attune my life to this? And it will attune your life to that. So when you really start to understand that words are spells, when you speak, it, you start to kind of understand like, oh, we create these vibrations through when we speak that influence both our internal and our external environments, because we're casting energy out through the words that we speak, because everything is energy. Words are energy. And how we speak here has such an impact in terms of how we are aligning our thoughts, emotions, and our actions that create that congruence in our life. And congruency here is influenced directly, internally, and externally. And it goes back to how you're casting that energy out into the world. Petitioning. Oh my gosh. I had to pause it and like really like sit and try to figure out the word that I've been trying to say. Petitioning. So you're casting energy out, petitioning to God, whatever you want to put the name to, petitioning to them, saying, hey, I'm casting this energy out to you as an offering of what I'm seeking, knowing that you have the power, knowing that you're the one, knowing that you're the only one that truly can provide that external environment that's matching up to the internal environment through what I'm casting energetically. The thing too that I want to remind people here is that's where the free will comes in. Like we have the free will. We have God gives us the will to freely choose what we want to align ourselves with. So when we are choosing to will our alignment with God, God is listening because we're petitioning Him through the words, through our thoughts, and through our actions. And from that, through that casting of energy, we're casting the energy out. We're petitioning God to provide us that provide for us in the way that only He can and He does. We may think we do a lot of things on our own, and no, like God's grace and mercy is so prevalent. I don't think people really are aware of that. And when you really kind of start to look at, especially like when you've gone through like a really challenging time, sometimes it's hard to see the grace and the mercy that is being extended to you. Sometimes it is, and that's okay. If you've been through something in your life and you're like, that was a lot, and I didn't find any grace or mercy in that, the fact that you're on the other side of that is an indication that grace and mercy was extended to you because you got to the other side of it and you're here right now able to reflect on that. Really reflect on those moments. I do it with myself all the time to be aware of the energy that I've casted out and being aware of how sometimes I wasn't impeccable with my word, but God still had my back because He knew my power and my purpose. And that I am fully capable of being purposeful and being empowered through Him and of Him. And so, because of that, I've been extended the grace and the mercy at all times. Being impeccable with your word, it can feel so overwhelming, and just like we can beat ourselves up when we're not impeccable with our word. I just want to remind everyone, because I remind myself too. It's like, oh man, I said this thing that was like really the energy that I casted out with what I said was not truly aligned with my highest self. It was maybe I said something that was doubtful of the support. You know, maybe I said something that was a bit destructive. And here's why having a spiritual practice, which for me, I'm thinking of rephrasing, is like having a level of self-awareness. That's what spirituality is. Self-awareness, being aware of yourself, understanding things that set you off, understanding your thoughts, your emotions, the connection between the two. And when you start to understand your thoughts, when you start to understand your emotions, you start to understand why and how your actions are influenced by that. They're influenced by that internal dialogue through your emotions, through your thoughts, both said and unsaid. And it externalizes in your environment because you're casting that energy out through your thoughts. And that's the thing too about being impeccable with your word. It's not just things that you say out loud, it's the things that you hold in your mind, because those are words, they're thoughts. Everything has energy. So being impeccable with your word, and not just through verbalization, audible verbalization, also what you're thinking and holding in your mind. be impeccable with your word. See how powerful it is when you in the connection to it, like words or spells, like you're casting that energy, that words have energy, the power and the influence and the impact that it has on your life. You start to really understand the power and how you can really start to pause and reflect on how things are lined up in your life in a way that you're like, yeah, I'm not really too sure about this. That's the beauty of being here, is that we have willpower, and with that power we get to will how we want to be in petition in some capacity, be in petition, be in prayer, be in spell casting, casting energy, seeking guidance. And it really does start with how you are aware of the power, of the energy of your emotions, both verbalized, internal and externally. You really start to understand that everything is energy and how it shows up and how it is energetically showing up, and how, with the understanding of everything is energy, how you can influence the energy in such a way. Your words are so powerful. That's why it's like I loved that he said what he said about, words are spells that shape reality, and you're casting energy. Words are spells. They literally are, because words carry energy and intention that shape your reality. So what's the takeaway? What's the actionable takeaway? Just to kind of summarize things, pause before you speak. Ask yourself, is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? Is it helpful? That's how you start to really embody the impeccability of your word and with your word. Because again, I want to remind you, being impeccable with your word is speaking truthfully, kindly, with integrity, and aligning your words with your higher self. So again, pause before you speak and ask yourself, is it true? Remember, being impeccable means speaking truthfully. Is it kind? Being impeccable means speaking kindly. Is it necessary? Being impeccable means speaking with integrity. And is it helpful? Being impeccable means aligning your words with your highest self. In my post-show reflections, kind of going a little bit deeper, because I really wanted to talk about words as spells, and how our words are, like how Don Miguel in the Four Agreements, he describes words as the most powerful tool we possess, capable of creation or destruction. And I think that is the most powerful awareness that will, like, just do check out the episode that we did. I think it's episode 5 on the Alchemist and the Oracle channel, and you can find that I believe linked down below or on my page, or it'll be somewhere where you'll be able to find it. So thank you so much for hanging out with me and listening to my post-show reflections. I'm probably going to do these for the other shows that I do as well. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel. I would love to have you to be a part of this community. And by you subscribing, it helps me hopefully get an understanding of what it is that you seek support in as well. So leave comments down below. Let me know how you feel about it. Engagement helps as well. Reach out to me. I don't want to feel like I'm just speaking into the void. And also, I don't want to just be talking at you. I want to provide helpful and meaningful tools that you can engage in and tap into in a way that makes sense for your life where you are at any given time. So, thank you again so much for watching, and I hope to see you in a future video. Bye.
Honey, when you say